60-year-old Kerim Ray, Turkish nation and managing director of Yemen International Limited, located in Mukono, and Erika Vunaro, a Ugandan nation, have appeared before Machinde Utilities and Wildlife Magistrates Court that were guilty of 2 counts of depositing marram in a wetland and failure to comply with the NEMA certificate of approval. They appeared in court for sentencing at the Utilities and Wildlife Magistrates Court, presided over by Magistrate Gladys Kamasanyu. The 2 committed the offences on 30th June 2024 in Gogombe Village, Seta Parish, Goma Division, in Mukono District.
When marram is deposited in wetlands are suffocated. They cannot serve the purposes that they are supposed to serve, which humans actually cannot serve. Which comes with a lot of consequences to humans and nature, generally. This country, Uganda, has already suffered enough consequences that come as a result of tampering with wetlands. There has been plenty of evidence of flooding, including flooding in the heart of the city. Humans and wildlife have died and property has been destroyed as a result of the floods. In this case, Yemen Construction Limited, a company where Kerim Ray, the first convict, is a director, that company was granted a certificate of approval of environmental and social impact assessment 18516. It was issued to the company on 14th of June 2024. This certificate was admitted here as prosecution exhibit number 4. The proposed project in the certificate was a concrete products manufacturing factory. Concrete products manufacturing factory. Concrete products manufacturing. And it was to be located along Kampala-Jinja Highway. In Gongobe Village, Seta Parish, Goma Division of Mukono Municipality, Mukono District. The area covered by the certificate of approval was set out in Figure 1. Figure 1 of the certificate, on the certificate. And the area was at GPS coordinates. I'll read the coordinates. 468771 ME and 41032 MN. So the coordinates for that particular area where the project was approved to be were set out. They were clearly put in the certificate. One of the specific conditions of approval of the project as set out under paragraph 4, subparagraph 3 of the certificate was that the project components and activities must be restricted to the area as indicated by the GPS coordinates in the said figure 1 of the approval. The inspection report that was tendered in this court and admitted as prosecution exhibit number 1 indicated that when an inspection was done,
Majosot Gladys Kamasanyu sentenced Karim Ray to a 5-year jail term with an alternative of 200 million per fine.
Or an imprisonment term of 12 years or both. In this case, the convicts pleaded guilty. They did not waste court's time and other resources that would be involved in their full trial. They don't deserve to be sentenced to the maximum penalties that the law provides. However, they deserve to be helped to change. And the punishments imposed to them should be those that send a message out there. To all those who have not yet been arrested and prosecuted. I did consider the participation of each of the convicts, their level of participation. They are at different degrees. In this case, Karim Ray, the first convict, is a director of Yaman Construction Company Limited. He is an owner of the company. And the one who applied for the environmental impact assessment certificate whose terms he was well aware of. Yeah, because he was going to implement a project in the area where the approval had been done. Karim Ray deserves to be helped to change and therefore respect the law in Uganda. And therefore to never act with impunity again. If he has to implement any project in Uganda again. On the other hand, Avnalo Eric was a worker for Karim Ray, the first convict. He's age 24 only. Avnalo told this court that he was not aware of the area where he was, backfilling for his boss was not approved for backfilling. So for their different degrees of participation, the convicts will be sentenced differently. The convicts are therefore sentenced as follows. For the offense of failure to comply with the conditions stipulated in the certificate of approval, Karim Ray, the first convict, is sentenced to a fine of 150 million Uganda shillings only. In default, should he fail to pay the money, Karim Ray, the first convict, will serve an imprisonment term of 5 years. On count 2, for the offense of depositing marram in Rajali wetland, Karim Ray, the first convict, is sentenced to a fine of 50 million Uganda shillings only. In default of which, Karim Ray, on count 1, will serve an imprisonment term of 2 years. On count 2, Avnalo Eric, the second convict, is sentenced to a caution. Should you go to work anywhere, be sure you know where you're working. And this is how the sentences for Karim Ray will be executed. The fines are cumulative, which means it will be the 150 million Uganda shillings and 50 million Uganda shillings, which makes a total of 200 million Uganda shillings only. The imprisonment terms will run concurrently. If he serves the custodial sentence, the period that the convict has spent on remand should be deducted from his sentences.
In addition to the sentence, court ordered Karim Ray to restore the degraded part of Rajari wetland.
And this is an order. It is ordered that Karim Ray, the first convict, restores the area of Rajali wetland system in which he deposited the marram. This will be done under the inspection of the National Environment Management Authority, NEMA. The restoration process should be done within 30 days from today. You have a right of appeal.
Court record shows that Kerim Ray was permitted by NEMA to carry out his project on 0.4 acres, but he breached the contract and degraded over 2.1 acres of the wetland.
On the first day of July 2024, NEMA inspectors established that the project had started with clearing of the vegetation clearing of the vegetation and backfilling of marram into Grajali wetland. On an area that was measuring 2.5 acres, out of which 0.4 acres had been approved for the project. Only 0.4 acres had been approved for the project in the certificate of approval. Another finding was that Yemen Construction Limited had extended about 2.1 acres outside the approved area. And of which 0.8 acres were onto the wetland, and 1.3 acres on dry land. It was further established that the project had extended past the approved area as per the certificate. And the total extension was 2.1 acres. Paragraph 4.1 of the report shows a map of the extent of encroachment on the wetland system. It shows that the approved plot was 0.4 acres. But 2.5 acres were cleared, and 0.8 acres of the cleared place were in the wetland. The photos admitted in this case as prosecution exhibit number 3 and photos that were attached onto the inspection report, they show the marram deposited in the wetland and some waterlogged areas. From the inspection report, clearly it cannot have been by accident that the said part of the wetland was encroached on by the convicts. it's not by accident that the said part of the wetland was encroached on by the convicts.
Tekyajja buzinga tekigendereddwa nti no awo mutobazi olwo nti no project eyo oba mmwe mwagenda maaso nebibesenzaako.
The area was too big compared to the small approved area.
Okufa ogunene nnyo.
Area was very small compared to the cleared area, which included the wetland and other dry area.
Ogereranya ekifo Mema kye yakkiriza ne ku ekyo kye kyasendebwa kinene nnyo kubanga kigenda paka ne mutobazi.
Now this is a form of impunity that must be stopped. It should be stopped for the good of this nation and us who live here. And this can be achieved through imposing deterrent punishments. Section 157, paragraph F and I of the National Environment Act, Cap 181, under which Karim Ray was convicted, provides for a punishment. It provides for a punishment of a fine not exceeding 2 billion Uganda shillings only, or an imprisonment term of 15 years, or an imprisonment term of 15 years, or both. Section 55, subsection 1, paragraph D of the National Environment Act, Cap 181, under which both convicts were convicted, provides for a punishment of a fine not exceeding 600 million Uganda shillings.
Court also sentenced Erica Avunayo to a caution since he was following instructions from his boss Karim. During that session, Magistrate Gladys Kahamasani noted that the country has had severe climate change effects due to destruction of wetlands. Section 55, 1 and 6 of the NEMA Act states that a person who contravenes Section 6 commits an offence and is liable on conviction to a fine not exceeding 600 million shillings or imprisonment not exceeding 12 years or both.
So, Liang Cheng Hu Dong Zhu, Zidong Zhu, Jizing Liang, and Wang PH1